Who are you? So stupid. Take a breath and answer me. Just because you are shaking and have an attitude, it doesn't impress me. Don't be smart with me. Straighten up your attitude. People are watching you today. Do you still live with your mother?
What's up, guys? Spenny. Ever since Nicolas Maduro was black-bagged by Delta Force, we told you it wasn't just because he was slinging drugs, it was because he was stealing elections. Both of those things are really bad for America. One of them is Donald Trump's passion project, the stolen election of 2020. And since Nicolas Maduro is allegedly singing like a songbird inside of a New York jail cell, Donald Trump has been out bragging that he now has all the evidence he needs to prosecute 2020 election theft.
We send them back, and we coordinate with other countries. A tremendous
where to
amount
look,
of work.
You'll hear President Trump say stuff like this.
An open border policy of the worst president in the history of our country. A man that didn't win the election, by the way, it was a rigged election. Everybody knows that now. And by the way, numbers are coming out that show it even more plainly. We caught him. We caught him.
Says President Trump. We caught him, as he takes the evidence and literally throws it in the face of reporters at the White House. President Trump,
separated by
days later, says this.
It's a war that should have never started, and it wouldn't have started if the 2020 U.S. presidential election weren't rigged. It was a rigged election. Everybody now knows that. They found out. People will soon be prosecuted for what they did.
People will be prosecuted for what they did. A reminder that Tulsi Gabbard, who is on the ground right now in Georgia at the Fulton Election Center, had this to say to Donald Trump about her investigation.
Evidence of how these electronic voting systems have been vulnerable to hackers for a very long time. And vulnerable to exploitation to manipulate the results of the votes being cast.
Manipulate the results of the votes being cast. Well, that is exactly what happened in Fulton County, Georgia, where nobody's quite sure how the votes or the tabulators worked. They've never been allowed to be inspected. You've never gotten a chance to actually look at all the ballots. And now the FBI has conducted a full raid of the Operation Center hub in Georgia at the exact same time, that a man who was in charge of Dominion voting systems admits in sworn testimony that he met with foreign nationals to discuss Dominion equipment, discussed vote adjudication software with foreign employees, discussed election systems codes and programming at code-based level with foreign employees. These are not allegations. These are his own admissions sworn to in federal court. You can see the documentation here. And what does this lead to? Well, if you put them all together, what you'll find is that everything that was told to you about the 2020 election was a lie. Ex-Dominion voting system executive Eric Coomer admits under oath in this deposition that he is discussing voting equipment adjudication software source code with foreign nationals, including Serbians, who could remotely troubleshoot in Denver offices. This contradicts years of Dominion denials of foreign involvement in U.S. elections. Now, what we've heard, and why I think this raid is going on, and why Tulsi Gabbard, here's a photo of Tulsi Gabbard, why Tulsi Gabbard is involved, is because these voting systems were connected to servers that were international, that could be hacked by international countries, by countries other than the United States of America, and that our elections were hacked. That President Trump put up a crack team in 2024 to prevent this from happening, and that this is now a national security issue. That's why the national security director is there on the ground in Georgia. It's also why Democrats are losing their minds, freaking out, making cringe videos like this one. Like, what is wrong with this lady? Like, I don't get it. She looks like Paddington Bear Al Sharpton. I don't know. But everyone is freaking out over whatever's happening. And here's what's happening. Everyone flips out when Tulsi looks at things because they know that she will dig down to the truth. Tulsi Gabbard's presence at the raid in Fulton County, Georgia is very significant. Gabbard laid out evidence of treasonous conspiracy against Donald Trump. Today's events show that the 2020 election was part of that grand conspiracy investigation. What was the role of the CIA, the FBI, Obama? We have proof of interference, Biden laptop, and so on, but it's getting bigger. Tulsi Gabbard's involvement in the FBI raid in Fulton County suggests, if there was any doubt, that this story is about to get really, really crazy. So what are you going to see? Well, I think that all these things are happening for a reason. I think that they're all happening at the same time. Things happen slowly and then very, very quickly. For anyone who hasn't seen this old documentation of Eric Coomer from Dominion, he used with Sequoia, he was blatant talks about transmitting data from their machines through wireless modem into the vote tallies, updates, changing voter rotation representation. These machines were specifically designed for fraud. What more do you want? Many people have suggested that millions of Trump's votes were deleted nationwide or were flipped. Batches of hundreds of thousands were changed and rigged via these systems. Nicolas Maduro gets arrested, and now suddenly you have the executives pleading out that they were working with foreign actors. My sources inside the administration say pretty plainly that there's something big going on here, and that Donald Trump worked really hard in 2024 with a team that included Elon Musk, but senators and other really smart crack agents inside and outside of the national security space in order to prevent another theft of the election. And what they ended up doing was shutting down these systems abroad. What they ended up doing was shutting down the vote tabulation systems that went internationally and could hack our elections. This was a major Elon Musk project. So what's the FBI getting right now? They're getting piles and piles of ballots, hundreds of thousands of them, that allegedly are fraudulent. This is what this raid in Fulton County looks like. They backed up massive trucks to the election center, and they took out the ballots, and they took everything. I mean, the warrant that they got was unbelievable. It was a criminal warrant that says you can seize everything. You have criminal cause to seize everything. It wasn't a search warrant. It wasn't a subpoena. It was a criminal warrant. FBI executives search warrant. Fulton County Election Center seizing contentious 2020 election ballots. For 6 years, the public has not been allowed to inspect these ballots, 150,000 of them. Sworn affidavits say they are counterfeit. This is a 20-year election official saying pristine ballots that had difference in texture of the paper with a different feel and no markings, and approximately 98% for Joe Biden. Hundreds of ballots with no folds or creases, perfect blank bubbles, all for Biden. Another Georgia Democrat, all had perfect black bubbles, all were for Biden. I heard Biden over 500 times in a row. So there you go. Is that what they're going to find? Here's Rudy Giuliani sharing the photos of this operation. Pretty significant. I mean, this is heavy work. Heavy work right here. Look at that. They're bringing it in. And Tulsi Gabbard was physically on the ground. From Rudy, FBI sees the 2020 election ballots. Deputy Director of the FBI was there. Tulsi Gabbard was there. The FBI Mobile Command Center was set up outside of the election warehouse. Transport trucks were brought in to receive the ballots. Remember, Biden only won Georgia by 10,000 votes. Fulton County admitted to certifying 300,000 fraudulent votes without poll signatures. The truth will set you free, says Rudy, who lost a lot, by the way, in all of this. He was like enemy number one this side of Trump. So I guess we'll see. You know, if you ran a fair election, why are you freaking out? Why are so many libs losing their minds if this election was free and fair? What? Anybody? Why would they be losing their minds if we're just checking their homework on the most secure election ever? That Joe Biden got all these legitimate votes. Good question. Good question. For another time. It's your boy Benny. See ya.